Last night you probably checked your phone in bed. The screen lit up your face in the dark. You didn't think about it. You definitely didn't think about the fact that your brain was trying to figure out if the sun had come up. It hadn't. But your brain didn't know that. It just saw light, and it reacted the way it has reacted for thousands of generations. You are not glitching. You are running very old software on very new hardware. Here's the strange part. You think you live in the modern world. You have electricity, you have alarm clocks, you have blackout curtains. But somewhere underneath all of that, your body is still keeping time the way it did 12,000 years ago, before cities, before clocks, before anyone had ever written a single word down. And it doesn't know the difference between a sunrise and a screen. 12,000 years ago, something happened that changed the human timeline forever. People stopped following animals and started following seasons. This was the beginning of agriculture. For the first time, humans needed to track something bigger than a single day. They needed to know when to plant, when to wait, and when to harvest. So they started watching the sky with a level of attention no species had ever needed before. Before that, for hundreds of thousands of years, human timekeeping was simple. Light meant move. Darkness meant rest. That's it. Your ancestors didn't need a reason. Their bodies had already built one in. This internal clock has a name. Scientists call it the circadian rhythm, and it runs on roughly a 24-hour cycle, driven almost entirely by light. The word comes from Latin, meaning around a day. It's not a metaphor. It's a real biological mechanism. Sitting in a tiny cluster of brain cells above your eyes called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. You don't need to remember that name, just know this. It's your body's built-in sundial, and it has been running non-stop since before you were born. Neuroscientist Russell Foster at Oxford has spent decades studying this system. And one of his most striking findings is that your eyes aren't just for seeing. They're also for timekeeping. There's a special type of receptor in your retina that doesn't help you see shapes or colors at all. Its only job is to detect brightness and report it straight to your internal clock. That receptor doesn't care if the light is coming from the sun, a candle, or a smartphone. Light is light. Your ancient timekeeping system can't tell the difference because for nearly all of human history, there was no difference to tell. So when you scroll through your phone at midnight, you're not just staying up late. You're sending a signal to a system that evolved for a world with exactly two light sources, the sun and fire. Your brain interprets that glow the same way it would interpret dawn breaking over a savanna. It starts suppressing melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. You feel more awake. Not because you decided to be. Because your body was tricked into thinking morning had arrived. This is where it gets uncomfortable. You didn't choose this reaction. Nobody does. Harvard sleep researcher Charles Czeisler has shown that even a short burst of bright light late at night can shift your internal clock by more than an hour. One scroll through social media can, biologically, move your body's sense of time, not your calendar. Your actual internal calendar, the one written into your cells. And it's not only about sleep. Your entire body runs on this rhythm. Your body temperature rises and falls on a schedule. Your hormone levels shift throughout the day. Even your reaction time and your ability to concentrate follow a rhythm shaped by light exposure going back further than agriculture, further than fire, further than anything you'd call human civilization. Here's a question worth sitting with. If your body is still built for a world with only sunlight and firelight, what happens when you live in a world lit up 24 hours a day? German chronobiologist Till Roenneberg has a term for what happens. He calls it social jet lag. Not the kind you get from flying across time zones, the kind you get from living in a modern schedule that constantly fights against your biological one. Waking up to an alarm before your body is ready. Staying up late under artificial light. Eating meals disconnected from daylight. Roenneberg's research suggests that most people in industrialized societies are, on some level, permanently jet-lagged, not because they travel, because they live indoors, under artificial light, on a clock that has nothing to do with the sun. Think about what that actually means. You could never leave your city, never board a plane, never cross a single time zone, and still your body could be functioning like it just landed somewhere completely different from where it's supposed to be. It's worth pausing on how strange this is. Ancient humans didn't need discipline to sleep on schedule. They didn't need apps or reminders or willpower. Their environment did the work for them. Darkness fell, and their bodies responded automatically, the way a plant turns toward light. There was no negotiation. Now you live somewhere that never truly gets dark. Street lights, screens, refrigerator lights. Your body is still waiting for the darkness that used to come every single night without fail. And increasingly, it just doesn't. There's something almost poetic about this. The tool that was supposed to give you control over time, artificial light, is the same tool quietly working against the oldest clock you own. You didn't invent electricity to hurt yourself. You invented it to extend your day. But your body never got the memo that the day was allowed to extend. It's still following instructions written 12,000 years ago, back when the only way to see in the dark was to burn something. And this isn't just an inconvenience. Disrupted circadian rhythms have been linked to mood changes, metabolic shifts, and long-term health effects that researchers are still mapping out. Your body isn't being dramatic when it protests a stretch of bad sleep. It's responding the exact way it was built to respond when the light-dark pattern it depends on gets scrambled. So what do you do with this? You're not going back to living by firelight. Nobody is suggesting that. But there's a quieter shift worth noticing. The people who feel most in sync with their own bodies, the ones who wake up without dread and fall asleep without a fight, tend to do one simple thing without realizing it. They let their environment mimic the old pattern. Bright light in the morning, dim light at night, not because a wellness account told them to, because that's the actual language your body has always spoken. Here's what's easy to miss in all of this. You are not weak for feeling exhausted after a late night scrolling. You are not broken for struggling to fall asleep after staring at a screen. You are a 12,000-year-old system trying to make sense of a world that changed faster than biology ever could. Agriculture gave humans a new relationship with time. Electricity gave humans a new relationship with light, but your internal clock never got an update. It's still running the original code. Tonight, when you check your phone in bed one more time, remember what's actually happening underneath that glow. It's not just a habit. It's a conversation between You and a clock older than written language, older than the wheel, older than every civilization that has ever existed. And somewhere in your skull, a tiny cluster of cells is looking at that light and quietly asking the same question it has asked every single day for 12,000 years. Is it morning yet?